Hey, everybody. Peter and I have been talking for the last 10 minutes because I hit go live in EV MOOCs and it used to make it go live on YouTube. And apparently that doesn't happen anymore. And then Blaze is going, where's the interview? We demand the interview. And I'm like, oh, wait, we don't have anybody watching. So we're going to do this all over again because this is actually a really special day. It's the launch day of Tales from Elsewhere. And we have Tales from Elsewhere creator Peter Lange here. We're going to get him on screen. Let's go. There we go, Peter. For the second time tonight, well, third time because we did this before we started. How are you doing today?
I am doing just as well as I did a few minutes ago. I am super excited to be here on this channel and getting a chance to hang with you a bit. I'm a little overwhelmed today in a good way, as it's
Yes,
been quite a day
because
indeed.
this is your first Kickstarter, correct?
Yes, first
And you
first published product, first Kickstarter.
and you have raised $13,878.
Wow, yeah, it's just shy of 50% funded,
We're
which is wild.
we are really looking forward to this. All right, so we have comments live. We have people watching now. We're going to try this again. So
Sounds good.
see revolutions work. Yes, please. Actually, I really am glad that you put that up there because I would have not noticed and we would have talked for hours and nobody would have seen it. So thank you for the pitchforks. That was really helpful. And Shadow Main, who just had his successful Kickstarter starter, Jason says congrats to you. But I don't know if everybody at my okay, Blaze is going to be one of those people. Please do not attempt revolutions at home without professionals. That just makes me happy. Thank you so much, Blaze. I'm glad you're in chat. So I don't know how many of my regular viewers watch your channel. I'm sure that there is a significant overlap. But for folks who don't, we were just doing some things that to get to know you a little better, right? And so we talked about this a little bit, so you now know what the question is. But this is a weird and wonderful hobby. You are a weird and wonderful person. So that's a natural fit. What was your first experience? What got you connected to tabletop role playing games?
And I'm very proud to be weird and wonderful, by the way.
I mean, it's
That's what's so great. So
absolutely.
it was about 25 years ago with the launch of third edition D&D. I was visiting family in Wisconsin, the North Woods of Wisconsin, where I couldn't have any of my Sega Genesis games or anything, right? Any of my video games at the time. And we were just in a cabin, and a cousin of mine who was really into tabletop games in general, very plugged into that community already, a little bit of an older cousin. He brings out his copy of third edition D&D and says, let's make a character and let's play. And we got like my sister and my other cousins, and we sat down and had a nonsense filled adventure, just unhinged, bizarre,
Hmm.
as you would when you're teenagers playing D&D for the first time. And I was just hooked on the open-endedness of all of that, that anything was possible, and we were just having so much fun. So after my trip to Wisconsin was over, I fly back to Los Angeles and I buy the Player's Handbook, DMG, and Monster Manual for third edition, all of which I still have those original copies from 25 years ago.
Oh wow.
And just tell
And
my friend,
three, not three
yeah,
five. You had three.
3,
Okay.
3.0. Called my friends on a landline, called their house and said, "Yeah, guys, this is what we're doing now, right? I'm gonna run a game. We're gonna play D&D, and like this is our hobby." And we all were just so hooked as imaginative kids who like to play pretend and always were making up games. Kind of that's what we like to do. This was just such a cool way, so much fun, just totally hooked for the next 25 years straight.
I just love the fact that you're like this is our hobby now, and your friends were like, okay, like we will do what Peter
Yeah,
says.
well, after they all played it, they're like, "This is so much fun," and most of them hadn't played before either. One of them had
Okay.
some exposure before because his dad had the original Redbox, and so he had
Okay.
gotten a little bit from a parent. The rest of us were like
Okay.
video game kids, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so because when I was a kid, like, it was when Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, all these things were really big. But oh
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
once that happened, that was what we do when we gather. We pick up pizzas, soda, all the junk food, play on a kitchen table, classic.
And roll math rocks.
Yep, roll
Great
math
times.
rocks and, using candy as the monsters or board game pieces from other games like Monopoly, whatever we could have, because we
Yeah.
didn't have any money,
Yeah.
to buy fancy stuff. So yeah,
That's
hooked
awesome.
ever since. Just so much fun.
Awesome. Blaze says, you were lucky I had to run my first games. I wanted to try out TTRPGs, but never had to find somebody who would just show me how it works. Blaze,
Yeah,
I feel your pain because I never felt I could be a GM, and I didn't have any friends who wanted to play. So when I was growing up, I was sort of BX. I always said that I collected, I didn't play. So I
right.
do.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
really lucky in that way that I had somebody introduce
yeah,
the game
and
to
then
me.
you could play with people who
Yeah,
are
yeah. So
interested.
I got to see its potential
Yep,
before I even picked up the book. Yeah,
always a good time.
hmm
My cousins introduced me to the game, which is kind
nice.
of similar.
Good on
Um,
cousins. Cousins are great for that.
Cousins are great. So, over the years you've been playing, 25 years or so, what has been your favorite NPC or your favorite character that you have controlled or run at the
Yeah.
table?
I'm going to give two total answers. So I'll talk about my favorite recent character and then an NPC that I made up on the spot that ended up being like the central focus of a whole campaign. So I have played a barbarian multiple times. I love barbarians because it lets me shut off my brain and just
Hmm.
bonk. And sometimes that's so cathartic as somebody who lives in his head too much. So I played a high charisma barbarian. So he was actually very well spoken. Didn't know all the words he's using all the time, but could tell a story. That was the idea.
Okay.
And he would
Okay.
say, and he was very he's like lawful good, believed in heroes defeating monsters, like just total like himbo kind of status, right?
Okay. Okay.
And he had a saying which was like somebody said his name was Beofrid, and he said somebody's like Beofrid, we don't need to fight here, and he says violence is not the answer; it is the question, and the answer is always yes. Because he had all
That's
that,
awesome.
he wasn't an 8 charisma barbarian, so kind of like doesn't want to talk to people, kind of gritty. He was like a 16 charisma barbarian, so he was like, no, no, my friends, you know, these are clearly monsters that we must slay, and so he was just hilarious.
Oh my
He'd come as
gosh.
rocks, and just so fun. My favorite NPC was many years ago. I'm a teenager at the time, and the
Hmm.
players get to some big city I had homebrewed, running my big homebrew campaign. And I realized that it was like this hostile city with a lot of mean people in it. And my friends weren't having fun because no one was helpful in town. Like,
Okay.
it was too much negative political intrigue. Like you could get into those moments where like the players are like, everybody's kind of a jerk here. So I made up on the spot a helpful local merchant that was named Bard Lag the Hobgoblin Textile Merchant. Made it up just then, and not knowing what to do, I made him sound like Yakov Smirnov, like the
What a
comedian.
country.
Yeah,
What a
exactly. So he's like,
country.
I'm just
Yeah.
humble hobgoblin who wants to make money, and they loved this character, and ended up pouring all of their resources into making him a successful businessman. Like it was the major arc of the campaign ever since.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
I just love, and that's what's so great about these games is that when you're open to letting things go off the rails, it's so
Hmm.
fun. You'll never know what players will fixate on. So that NPC has a warm place in my heart. 20 years later, or however long it's been, my friends still talk about Bard Lag the Hobgoblin.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did
So
anybody ever give you like a mini of them?
no, this was when we're teenagers, we just didn't have minis
Monies to do
like at
minis.
all. I'd buy just a random box of stuff, and so we just pick whatever's in there.
Gotcha.
Now I really should go and like go on Hero Forge or something and like make a really fancy mini for him as an homage.
That was one of the coolest things I got from one of my players because I had a bugbear that had joined a cult and they let him live. And he's like, look, I'm just here because I was tired of like all the fight, and my dream is to go procure really rare ingredients for restaurants.
That's great.
And
That's great.
he was just Gregor the Finder, and he just kept on popping up.
That's
Like
wonderful.
you're still not killing me, yeah. And he would pop up everywhere where they went. And somebody made me a mini of it. It's a bugbear in a chef's hat
And
with
a
a
chef's
with a
hat.
with a
Chef's
pan.
kiss. I love it.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, those quirky characters are so fun. And I
Oh,
run
so
horror.
yeah.
Like, even though I like to run horror and like gritty stuff, I can't help but I just like a funny guy, toss a funny guy in, right?
Well, how many horror movies have the funny stress
Exactly.
relief
You
character.
have to have, yeah, the high so that the low hits harder.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's just logic.
exactly.
Also, it's a lot of fun. All right. This is just, I just want to trying to explore one of your pathologies at this point. When did you first know that you had a fascination with wound systems that might be a little bit inordinately high?
I don't know what you're referring to, Wes. How dare you? Uh, so when I was working on this game, I've been fiddling with this game for years. Like the first idea was like 10 years ago. And I'd, put it up, I'd pick it up, work on it a bit, set it back down for years at a
Hmm.
time. And I wasn't really confident that the game I had been making was worth sharing with others. I kept
Okay.
testing it. I do whole versions of it, like print it out, like whole rule books, and be like, this
Okay.
isn't that different. And it wasn't until my good buddy and who's been helping me with design the whole time, Daniel, he said, like, Peter, you should like make a better health system for the game. Like this isn't working for your design goals, basically.
Okay.
And it wasn't until then when I made my current wound system or the early versions of it, I realized, oh, now my game is worth playing. Like it's actually something a little different. And I just hyper fixated on health abstractions at that point. Uh,
Okay.
right. Just really became more enthusiastic about different ways of conceptualizing bodily harm in tabletop role playing games, apart from hit points. Like hit points are highly functional, super good. Oh, I just saw
But there,
Stephanie's
I know,
comment.
I have it highlighted.
Oh, that's
When did you know you
great.
wanted your players to suffer?
Well, I wanted
So,
that from the first time I started running D&D 25 years ago. Oh, I was notorious evil DM type of DM.
okay.
Uh, but yeah, it wasn't until I realized the value that this system had for my game that I started
Hmm.
really like loving to learn about health abstraction. So, we
Cool.
have things like Blades in the Dark has like a wound system, or even something like Cipher, which we've talked about, right? How Cipher uses its stats as its health, right? Just alternative ways of approaching, I think, are a lot of fun to investigate. And now it's
Hmm.
become quite a meme. uh,
Peter is known for his wound systems
I am the
loves.
wounds guy, yeah. And you know what? That's not the worst thing to be known for. Honestly, it's my
Hey,
brand.
like we don't abstract pain. We just make it as real as possible.
Exactly.
That's fine. Okay, here's the question that is going to strain your brain a little bit, because this will identify you more than any of the other questions. You are standing at a table with four other players. Every one of them has GM experience. There's four chairs along the sides of the table. There's one chair at the head of the table for the GM. Which chair do you go for? And what do you do to make sure you get to it?
That's a really good question, by the way.
I thought of that up today. I was so proud
If
of
I don't know what system, if there's no other data, like
No,
no
you can
system
play
is
whatever system you want.
okay. So if I
Whatever
sit in the
system
GM seat, I pick the system.
you pick the system. Yes. No, you're not being stuck playing 5e. Like you can run
Gotcha.
whatever you
So
want.
I would really go for the GM seat.
Okay.
And the reason is if I'm at a table with a lot of experienced people, this is and I would sell them on this idea. I'd talk to them. I'd say, let's pick a weird game, guys. Right? Let's do like I've never gotten a chance to play Dread in person, the Jenga Tower game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like let's play something that even challenges our definition of what a tabletop role playing game is. Maybe like let's get weird with it, guys. Because if you're with experienced people, they're a lot of fun to run a traditional session with, sure, right?
Sure,
Because
sure,
they'll lean
sure.
into the story, like they're great for campaigns. But I feel like that's an opportunity for everybody to let loose a little bit and just get weird with it for a session. Like how Brindlewood Bay, let's all be old ladies, in New England solving crimes or something funny, right? Like
I
let's
need to play that sometime,
it's
by the way.
very interesting. A word of
Yeah.
warning about Brindlewood Bay. It is advertised as a game about solving crimes, but it's actually more
It's
accurate to say it's about writing a crime story together. So for
yeah,
those
because there's
watching,
no canonical solution for any of
exactly.
the crimes. Yeah.
And so if you're down with that, it's super fun. If you're
Yeah.
hoping to solve a mystery, you're not going to have a good time. But
Yeah.
like something like that, though, right? Let's get weird with it. That would
Hmm.
be my sell for the GM seat.
So you would go cerebral to try to get
Yeah,
to the
Yeah, cerebral but fun. Like, let's do a weird thing, rather than a crunchy system or anything like that. Yeah,
All right,
that's
I
maybe
like
how I
that.
feel.
I like that. I was half expecting the barbarian to come out
Yeah, when in
and
doubt, though,
wound somebody.
I'll sit a table. I'll sit at a chair happily as a player, anytime. As somebody who, for most of those 25 years, was primarily a forever DM, right?
Right. Okay.
Actually, well, for the first 15, I was a forever Oh my gosh, how old am I now?
You're
So
old.
yeah, it's
You're not
getting
as
up
old as
there.
I am, but you're old.
I realized I've actually been with my current D&D group that meets every other Friday like clockwork for almost 15 years now.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, I'm really lucky, and that has a rotating DM seat. And
Nice.
so honestly, I haven't been a forever DM as long. I've actually been a player now longer than I was a forever DM. It's finally hit that point. Anyway,
Okay. All right. Good times. Good
yeah,
times.
good
But
stuff.
I like that you went the cerebral method
Yeah,
instead. You weren't like there was no, you
no,
know,
no nonsense.
there was no competing anchor teams from Anchorman.
Oh no, I'm
That escalated quickly.
much too up
So
here. Much too. I studied philosophy in school, and so I stuck up here forever, overthinking.
how do I reason my way into it?
Yes. Why?
I like and Jason, if you want to run Brindlewood Bay for me sometime on the channel, I would love to play this game.
It's
I don't know if I could run a Powered by the Apocalypse game because I haven't played it enough.
yeah. It. I'm with you on that. It's something I'd
Yeah,
prefer to sit with a GM that's experienced doing it and experience it as a player.
yeah.
It's just not my normal wheelhouse.
I the improv I can do
Yeah.
my and this is true for every Powered by the Apocalypse game that I've read so much. It's I just no one does a really good job explaining how to run the game.
Right. Like when
There's a lot
to
of
use a move
assumptions.
and when to not
They're
is
just like this is happening. I'm like, okay, but
yeah.
you don't explain why. And so
It
that's why
right. It's
I want to play it more.
yeah, I definitely could use more experience running Powered by the Apocalypse games. Excuse me, because it is a different skill than
Hmm.
running a more trad, we would say, or
Yeah.
symmetrical system. Right?
Yep.
I could definitely use some more practice with that. But
Yeah,
who
I want to
has
see
the
how the
time?
moves work. Who has the time? I'm sabbatical. I want to play all the games I
Oh,
can.
hey, yeah. I mean,
So
not I certainly don't have time now. This Kickstarter is taken off, so I'm going to be real.
you're up to 13,958. I have the total running over
Oh
here.
wow.
So
Yeah, I'm going to be a busy boy. That's for sure.
yep,
Getting that.
yes. You will be busy. The goal is to get him to $100,000. I can get my Foundry module. He can
Fair.
quit his day job and just make games for the rest of his life. That's the goal.
That would
That's
be
the dream,
that's the
man.
dream. Yeah, I'll take funding the game as a great victory. If I
Yes.
had to pick a stretch goal that I'd really want to hit, it's
What do you
the
want to hit?
adventure stretch goal.
All right, we're talking about that in a minute. So
Oh, okay. I'll
we'll get to there
hold off then.
because we do want to talk about this cool game that you have created,
Yeah,
which it's so weird because I played in the world twice and I still have not
yeah.
played your system.
But honestly,
Um,
world and vibe is hugely important. In
yeah,
I had so much fun playing like my world run by another GM in a different system because I just think the world is cool, right?
it was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's also
Um, and Scratch's amazing. So, but let's talk about this. So, folks are coming into this world in this game. Can you describe a little bit about this world that they will encounter when they come into it? Because we
my
say it's Weird West, and that does
yeah.
not cover the half of it.
Yeah, well, and Weird West actually has a lot of subgenres within it. Oddly enough, this tiny niche has different styles of Weird West.
Yes.
Right, the tiny niche has an even tinier niches within.
Hmm.
So all of the words are post-apocalyptic action horror Weird West. So lots of words there. But really, the way I'll pitch it is in a world in the 19th century of a world not so different from our own that had reached an advanced civilization for the 19th century. So steampunk, technology, robots, and such, classic steampunk. There was an apocalyptic event that destroyed civilization. And the game takes place 100 years after that day,
Hmm.
when the players are the survivors of the world after that is still attempting to reclaim what was lost. There's only a shred of civilization left. And the technology that's out there is not well understood. you've got your cowboys with 6 shooters and your coach guns, but out there are crazy technology from before
Hmm.
and monsters, because that apocalyptic event tore the barrier between the world and elsewhere, a place of Lovecraftian horror and nightmare. And,
Hmm.
it's like a hell, for lack of a better term, or how some people would conceptualize it.
Hmm.
But the people of the world, the players, don't actually have perfect knowledge of what was before and what the nature of the apocalypse was and all of that. They have to discover that. And so it's a world with a lot of detail inspired by historical, real history, the anxieties of the people of the
Hmm.
19th century in the real United States, and the different cultures that actually made up the West, right?
Hmm.
As there was myriad cultures actually that made up the United States in the 19th century. And telling the stories of hardy people working together against the monsters of the ruination. So it's a story
Hmm.
of horror and action, but it's about people who have to band together to survive. Um,
Gotcha.
and sometimes that's against sinister people who maybe worship elsewhere as their god, right? Or so there's hidden cultists within the towns, sleeper
Hmm.
agents. You don't know if the saloon owner might really have in a cellar a dark altar or something, right? And
Gotcha.
there could be other human pockets of civilization out in the world, out in the ruination, that might be hostile to you because there's precious few resources. So it's
Okay.
dangerous to go out and look. Maybe other people survived in different ways, more harsh ways, pushed to the brink.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's primarily people against monsters, but sometimes apocalypses can turn people into monsters as well, right? So
That's
that's the thrust of it.
very, very cool. And it is, like I played in it twice. Really, really a cool setting.
Yeah,
Always, but every time I'm on it, a train crashes. I don't know why.
I like
Um,
trains, and so does Scrat. Apparently,
apparently, it's like another train crash. What's going on?
but these trains, they're really not up to code. They're not
They are
OSHA
not.
compliant.
There's nobody doing the maintenance anymore. All
Yep.
right, so I know a number of the creatures in the game come from pre-existent mythology that you've kind of adapted. What's your favorite one that you have invented for Tales from Elsewhere?
Probably going to be the Blood Oiler, the poster child monster, which
Yep.
is, this horrid fusion of undead flesh and robotics with dripping oil, keeping them in a suspended animation so they can take more victims and turn them into more of themselves.
Uh huh.
Uh, so that's a huge one. I think a lot of people are already very familiar with that because I talk about it so much.
Yeah,
So I'm actually,
Blaze has got it in his step
oh
in,
yeah,
in
yeah, he
another
actually
game.
made it in Shinnecoin World Shapers too, which is
Yep,
super cool. But I'll actually switch gears and talk about the Kentucky Sawbones here, because
that's
I
the
think,
one that freaked me out.
yeah. So in that first session with Scrat and his group, so the Kentucky Sawbones, like I said, I'm drawing from anxieties of the 19th century. And so the Kentucky Sawbones is inspired by fears of infection and amputation,
Mm.
because this was very common after large battles, that
Hmm.
soldiers would need to have limbs removed to prevent the spread of infection. And this is very common. And so this was a huge fear.
Hmm.
And so the Kentucky Sawbones is a malevolent swarm of severed left arms, which is just what a sentence. And so nobody's sure how they form exactly, these horrors, but the theories are, after a large battle, if the dead aren't properly interred, their arms might coalesce together and form a Kentucky Sawbones. And what it does is it possesses your left arm if it's nearby and causes it to attack you. And if it kills you, the arm pops off and scuttles over to join the swarm. Uh, so they're just nasty pieces of work. They can't speak. They don't, because they're just a swarm of arms, but they'll form themselves roughly into the shape of a person and throw a coat over themselves to try to sneak into a town at night, find a
Hmm.
dark cellar to lurk in, and start claiming more victims. So they're just wacky and
They're
wild.
utterly
They can
terrifying.
throw,
It's
they
great.
arms can pop off of them and like attack you, and try to strangle
Hmm.
you, and you're just absolute chaos. Yes. So they're
I also agree with Stephanie that left arms are the best
the
arms.
sinister hand, right?
Yeah, we're the demon possessed people. Yay.
Yep.
So
So yeah,
yep.
that's really fun, as it's a way to. It's my own creation. The name is my own creation. That isn't a historical term like the Arizona tenor, another one I really like, which is a
Hmm.
historical term for somebody with tuberculosis, and that's like a tuberculosis ghost. But
Okay,
the
cool.
Kentucky Sawbones is just, I took the term for a doctor that was from the time period and slapped the word Kentucky on it, and hey, sounds like a cryptid or something now, right?
And it works really well.
Yeah.
So,
It's gnarly, especially if you encounter it in a populated town where
uh-huh,
there's so many people you may need to try to protect from themselves as their arms
are
become
coming. Oh
possessed, right?
gosh,
So
it's just,
yeah, it's gnarly.
it was wild. My professional sidekick did not enjoy him. Um,
Right, that was great.
I love that character.
That
All
was
right,
fantastic.
so I think you talked about this a little bit, but when did you first start kicking the tires on this game? And really, what came first? Was it you working on the mechanics, or did you start thinking about the world first, or was it same time?
Yeah, so the world came first, mainly because originally I was making my setting as a hack of Cyberpunk 2020, which the one from like 1999, that edition,
Okay.
because it has like really detailed firearm rules and like cover rules. So I thought this will be great for
Mhm.
a cowboy game. So I was coming up with the idea of the world and the vibes of it
Okay.
while working as a hack of another system. But then I was like, okay, I need to change this. Then I need to change this. And now I'm like, I don't actually like this. I don't think I actually want to run Cyberpunk 2020. Started, and then it's just like it was a decade ago, I think, that I started
Hmm.
fiddling with it. But as you know, real life takes precedence sometimes. So there were stretches
Yep.
where I didn't touch it for 2, 3 years.
Okay.
Then I'd pick it back up. And it was actually during the pandemic. Tim, one of my friends who works on the channel, he said, "Yeah, Peter, you should just finish that cowboy game you're working on." I'm like,
Okay.
"Okay." I said, "Okay," and now
I
here I am.
I need something to do.
Yeah,
5 years
you're
later,
right. There was potential there, and now here I am.
you're
So,
at
yeah, the
fourteen
last,
thousand $109.
yeah, wow, yeah,
I got like having the running total over here. It's
it's
great.
so cool. So the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years were the real honest effort to produce a game. And during that time, I produced, I think, 3 full rulebook drafts of the game.
Okay.
So I liked to iterate for a while and then literally like 80 to 100 pages, then get it printed, like go to a print shop, print
Okay.
it out, and sit down with players and try to run a game with it, like for real.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh no, it's not good yet. Throw it all out and do that a couple more times until afterward, the most recent long term campaign, which was a few years ago.
Okay.
At the end of it, I ran it for 3 different groups, the same campaign. I'm like, oh yeah, it's
You
time.
got it. Okay.
I'm ready to start a YouTube channel, to start talking to people about it. And so much prep had already gone in before day one of
Uh-huh.
YouTube, right? I did so much prep and research beforehand. Yeah, so it's a long time coming.
It really is a long time. So for folks who are backing it, if you're just encountering this, this game has been play tested out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And you can literally go back and watch Peter's old videos of like all of his play philosophy to come
Yeah, I
down
make
and
no
find
secret.
out why he is preoccupied with doing systems. It's great.
Yeah. So all that's really left for the rule book is the manuscript, the final manuscript
Hmm.
is mostly done like from content. But
Hmm.
there's so much extra stuff you could put into a rule book. So I'm finishing out the
Yeah.
monsters. I want to have a lot of them. I'm putting in all the random tables,
Hmm.
finishing up all my fun lore write ups, expanding the GM section. It's a lot of like little things,
Yeah.
but like the game itself has been playable for a few years, and there's lots of balance that I want to do.
Hmm.
Refine the balance even more. It's in a pretty darn good spot because one thing folks in this community, like TTRPG community, are really good at is over optimization, right? So the people in my community and who have gotten access to more of the rules, um, they help break things so that
And
I can
they
fix.
enjoy
Yeah,
breaking things.
there's some of my designs for the game from a system standpoint make it harder to break certain things, but there's no system is immune.
No, and they will find a way to do it.
Yep, I'm
Yep.
sure there's so much more that I haven't even found yet, and we'll refine that between now and print time. So
You will have your own version of the peasant railgun. It will happen. It will
there have
absolutely
been
happen.
stuff. There's been stuff like that has been found. Yep, that has luckily been squashed before the Kickstarter. But there were some infinites that were found
Oh, Dave from Grimwood Games will find anything
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, he would.
He'll
Yeah,
find
he'd find
anything like
something.
that. Yep. He's good at it. Scrat will find it and not tell you. Like, what? I want to do that for me. I'm just Scrat's all upset that nobody's interviewed him yet, so I have to get him
Now
on
I
the
need to
channel.
just interview him on my YouTube channel. I don't even know what we'll
I'm
talk about
just
really.
I listen, he's just going to be the green room guy. I almost or like sent him a message today, like, Scrat, I just need you to send me a video of you watching like a monitor and then get angry all of a sudden because I literally was just going to
That's
like be
so
like,
great.
Scrat, sorry, we ran out of time. We'll get to you next time.
Yeah. Well, funnily
Um,
enough, Scrat was one of the first people to like give my new channel a shout out on YouTube. One of
was
the
he
first.
really?
Yeah, he and Interplanar Crossroads. They do
Yeah.
their shout
Yep.
outs.
Yep. Yep. They do that.
Um,
I've been on that a couple times.
yeah, so I happened to see like, oh, I have a mention on YouTube. That's weird. Like when I was at just a couple hundred subscribers, and
Uh huh.
there they were saying like, "Hey, this new channel seems kind of cool," and that meant a lot. So like, I love Scrat. Scrat's the best. That meant a
He
lot.
is.
Um,
That whole crew are
yeah,
really, really
they're
supportive.
so. We were kind of talking off stream, but I wasn't on. I hadn't been on social media since MySpace, basically, and so
Mhm.
I had a lot of apprehension becoming a content creator because the internet, like, I don't want to be on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Like my
overrated.
exposure to people on the internet was like playing online games, and those people are the worst.
Yeah.
But I've actually found this tabletop community to be so welcoming and just awesome. Like I saw Stephanie from Stephanie Plays Games is here in chat right now
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Who's somebody like I had watched on YouTube before becoming a YouTuber, and I've gotten to like I played a game of Cyborg with her. She played a game of my game. I met Blaze, a fellow game designer. Gotten to hang out
Yeah.
with him a ton. Met you, Scrat.
You had fun at Gen Con. You got
Yeah, I
to
got to meet
hang out with
people in
Elder Goblin
person.
Games.
Right? It's just
Ah,
so cool. Everybody's so welcoming, and that's what I love about it. It's great.
yeah. That's what I said. This is my midlife crisis, and it's a great one.
Yeah, it's a great way to spend it.
It's a great midlife crisis. And Stephanie, I still want to play a game for you sometime because we've interacted a couple times.
She's so much fun to run a game for. Oh my
Oh,
god.
she's a trip. I love like her videos are great.
Yeah.
Um, just absolutely wonderful. So let's get back onto track because the ADHD is kicking in. Um, and here I'll put this up from Blaze first. Scrat is awesome, best YouTuber. He deserves better.
He's the
Yes,
best.
he's very nice.
Mhm.
Um, all right. So games mechanic is built around this concept called rank,
Yes.
which I loved it, which was fantastic. But what I think is interesting about the way you've set it up is that rank actually serves two roles in the game, which is neat because it's one table that does everything. So first off, is rank used to determine a task's difficulty, and how does that math work?
Yeah, definitely. We've talked before about our love of cipher system, and so we
Yep.
can see DNA here, a shared heritage.
Hmm.
And what I really liked about cipher system, is that it makes adjudication really fast, and the players know their target numbers.
Yeah.
And when the players don't have to tell a number to the GM and say, "Did that hit?" GM checks no. When you've just provided that ahead of time, I really like that structure. So
Yeah.
the way rank works for determining how hard something is there's a series of terms, and you could map these to numbers too, that go from layman, novice, adept, master, extraordinary, inhuman, legendary, mythical, which are supposed to be ascending challenge terms.
Yeah.
And when something in the world needs to be interacted with, when there's something of consequence being attempted, with actual, it would matter if you failed,
Hmm.
right? Not crossing the street. Um, the GM says, okay, how hard would this be? And these ranks are, uh, from a GM's perspective, layman through master is what is possible for humans, right? That's the extent of human capability, how good they are at things.
Okay.
Things that go beyond that are extraordinary or inhuman, right? These are things that are going beyond. And these terms and breakpoints are actually specifically chosen, that master rank is the peak of human capability. So
Hmm.
if you encounter something and think, okay, how hard would this be? If I think master rank, okay, that should be pretty tough,
Uh
right? And
huh.
if I go beyond that, I
Uh
can think,
oh.
okay, now only really skilled people have a chance of even trying to do this.
Gotcha.
But since the math is just increments of two, the target number goes up by two each time. At layman, it's a 4, and it goes up by 2 each time.
Hmm.
It's very easy to just like know the range because we're doing D10 plus a bonus.
Hmm.
So the math ends up being super simple for the GM to adjudicate. Like it's crazy easy. And the bonus is also based on that same structure. And the math actually works out to the target number is the bonus plus 4. So if you're layman, you have plus 0, and you add 4 to that, that gets the target number. If I'm a
Gotcha.
master, I have a bonus of 6. That means the target number would be a 10. Like it all just lines up super linearly. And
Okay.
it creates a math light experience, right? You're not doing a lot of
Hmm.
arithmetic
Hmm.
because you only ever add that skill bonus. And you just slide the difficulty up and down a la Cypher to
Hmm. Hmm.
change the target as needed, like through using tools or cooperation. And it ends up
And
moving pretty fast.
so if you're, I know you have the aces to where you're
Yeah.
trying to do like a headshot.
Yeah.
So that moves the rank up by 2.
Yes.
So if you, it would be normally be, uh, I don't know all the numbers yet, but
Okay.
what's below master?
Adept is the next one.
So adept, and then what goes above? Is it extraordinary past
Yep. And the
master?
extraordinary is the next one past
So we'll
master.
go down to extraordinary. So now you need a 12 to hit. Is that
That's
extraordinary?
correct. Yep.
Okay. See, look, I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
But you're a master skill, so you have a +6 to your roll.
Yeah. So you have a
That's
decent chance
basically,
then, right?
yeah.
Decent chance to succeed on that.
Well, I don't have a decent
Oh,
chance at that.
well, I
Most
sure.
people do. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm terribly
Yeah.
unskilled. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the thought is, yeah, well, if like attacking isn't based on an armor class; it's based on
Hmm.
distance and where you target. So,
Right.
because really, it's not hard to hit something that's stationary. It's hard when they try to avoid being hit. So the game uses
Hmm.
reactions. Somebody draws their 6-shooter on you, you can dive for cover, and that's what makes it really hard to hit. Is you
Right. Okay.
getting out of the way, or in a sword fight, you blocking is something you do actively. You use a
Hmm.
reaction roll because hitting a guy my size, if you're standing next to me, isn't exactly hard.
Right. 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 Right.
But it's
Right.
if I move or dodge out of the way. So yeah, if
Hmm.
using my
How
six
does
shooter,
dodging work? Does that make the target number harder, or do you have to actively roll to do it?
yeah, you do roll the skill test. So you roll a dice and add a
Hmm.
skill bonus because everything's just a skill test. And
Right.
if that number is higher than the original target number, you set it to that new value. So,
Okay.
for example, 6-shooter gets pulled out by a bandit and tries to shoot you, and you say, "I want to dive behind the bar." And
Gotcha.
maybe hitting at this distance at close range is a 6 or higher, a novice test. And
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
roll my take cover. I use my reflexes and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
classic Western stuff, and I get a 10. Well, now the bandit needs to get a 10 or higher to have
To actually
successfully
hit you.
done.
Gotcha. I
So
like that.
yeah, and it's
There's a
only if it goes
it's
higher, right? If you roll lower, it doesn't lower it. It's just it's only beneficial, but you can only react twice in a
in a
round,
turn.
basically.
So if everybody gets 2 actions and 2 reactions in a
That's
turn,
correct. And if you use
unless you want
both,
to combine them. Yeah.
exactly, going all in lets you roll with advantage, to use the D&D term. You high roll. So the
Hmm.
players think, oh, wow, I really need to avoid this shotgun blast from this bad guy. I'm going to
Uh
use
huh.
and just hope nobody else attacks me. I'm going to use that to high roll to gain advantage.
Gotcha.
And that's high roll advantage is important because it doesn't change your upper and lower bounds. Because,
Hmm.
like we are saying, if something's a 14 and I'm plus 0, it doesn't matter if I roll 2d10 and take the higher, I can't succeed.
You can just still get 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's purposeful, that you need help, is the whole thing. You're supposed to work together to avoid these things.
And how can players help to give
Yeah.
you a? They can give you like a temporary bonus to a roll.
Yeah. The way it works is if they're helping you with a task, they can lower all the cipher, right? They can lower the target number, they lower the rank by
There's
helping
a
things.
lot of parallel evolution
Yep.
in this,
And I
and it,
love that. I love the way that works, right?
yes.
So lowering it, people helping you lowers the target, the rank.
Hmm.
Using the right tool for the job, as we say, the rule just says the right tool for the job. If you have a tool that would make this easier, like I have a crowbar to pry open this door,
Yeah.
rank goes down again.
Yeah.
Uh, Even with reactions, the players could try to help them with the reaction as well if they
Okay.
want. Like I shove him out of the way, right? So he doesn't get
Hmm.
shot. And so the
Hmm.
player could roll for them and shove them, like, get out of here, using their like
Okay.
might or something. So they could work together. There's
Okay.
also, if you distract an enemy, right, they'll if you get in their face and wave your hands around, they're less accurate. So you can work together to avoid harm.
Oh, that's I love games like that
Yeah.
where the players working together and you get to. It's not. I say I help this, and now they have advantage, which is the most boring
Yeah.
thing ever. Which is why nobody does it in like 5e.
Yeah.
Like
It
I don't
doesn't
have to
do
do.
much either, right? It's like
No, I get advantage.
you
Great.
get
So I
advantage
wasted my
from your
action to let
lasers,
them
right?
roll 2 dice. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But I love games where like, oh no, I have to narrate what I'm doing to help, and then I get my full roll, and that's going to determine what impacts
Yeah.
this other person. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and you
So
could, just try to lower the difficulty. Like, there's different ways the players could approach it, but
yeah,
so much of avoiding harm is properly taking down your opponents and preventing them from harming you. Uh,
yes,
Shoot the bandit's gun hand so the gun drops, or in the session that Stephanie was just playing in, you know, uh, take out the Blood Oiler's saw blade arm, like tear it apart so that it can't use it. That's way more effective than just trying to dodge it. Right.
I
Right.
love everything about that.
Yeah.
So this is the interesting thing for me is so distance. I like the way you handle ranges in the game because distance just changes the rank that
Yeah.
he goes through.
Mhm.
But when you get into like point blank range, if I'm remembering correctly, your rank goes lower, correct?
Yeah. It's really easy to hit something point blank.
Which is the opposite of what most games do. It's like, oh no, now you have a disadvantage to the roll. No, like I'm point blank, I'm here, which makes
Oh,
sense when
yeah.
you're doing a long bow, but you have a 6 shooter, you're just pointing something at
Well,
and
and
go.
it's like at adjacent range, ranged weapons do have disadvantage at that distance, but the target number is so low
It doesn't matter.
that a gunslinger, the
Yeah.
target number to hit center mass point blank is 4, and you
But
can have
here,
+6, so you can't miss.
so here is my question for you. When you were making this mechanic this way, even there's this advantage, where you're like, people are going to be tempted to take aces every time they're in point blank range.
Yes, I even with melee weapons,
Hmm.
right, that they're just going for the headshots.
Yeah, and
When
folks who
they
don't know, an ace is a headshot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and in theory, it could be any vulnerable part, like, you could say it's the heart or something too, but
hmm hmm
usually it's the head. So, it's something we were a little bit worried about, that it would be really easy for the master swordsman to just go around lopping people's heads off,
hmm
and or the master gunslinger running up point blank with a sawn-off coach gun and just blowing things away,
yeah. hmm
and, yeah, it's very deadly to do that.
hmm
But you gotta walk up to the Blood Oiler to do this.
The risk is high.
The risk
Yes.
is high, and that risk reward actually feels pretty good. Like, they earn it, because if
Gotcha.
they don't kill that Blood Oiler that turn, it picks it up and saws off its your arm or something.
Hmm.
And the Blood Oiler rolls with +8, more than the players
Ouch.
can. Right? They're beyond what players can do.
Okay.
And so, if you only get one master skill, and if you've put that in, you know, gun shooting, chances are you're not going to
You're
have
not.
very good defenses. So it's just going to
Hmm.
pick you up and take a limb. And, you know, you're not going to win the attrition fight one on one against a Blood Oiler. You need friends. You have to work together. So,
Gotcha.
like in the session, the session was super fun yesterday. There was one Blood Oiler, and like 3 players tackled it. Like, one took out a leg, one took out a limb. Then the third guy like got on its head, and like eventually they pulled the head off. But it took a team effort. And in that time, one
Gotcha.
guy lost a leg. Like, it cost
Oh
them
gosh.
dearly to take down the Blood Oiler. Um, but they did it. It's just
Stephanie
pretty.
is confirming the danger
Yes.
of going towards a blood
It
oiler.
was
This felt
apprehensive
very
to
bad.
move an owlbear, their token, close to the Oiler. So it turns out that it's okay to let the players feel really competent in that space, because the game is so dangerous. And they play with fire
Gotcha.
when they do so.
Gotcha. And that's the best type of game, I think, in a lot of
Yeah, because
ways.
it's action horror,
So
right?
we
You're
did,
supposed to be, feel pretty cool, but also
and I
just made
don't
of flesh.
see, I'm trying to. I've never felt the horror vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy, creepy, which to
Yeah,
me is almost worse.
yeah,
But there is the horror vibe because arms are getting ripped off left
yeah. There's
and
the
right. But
body
there
horror
is,
side.
that's
there's
There is
different
the
types.
body horror going on, but it just felt so creepy. Is the way that I've always described
Yeah.
it.
Well, and
Um,
I find horror fun, so it's not like I'm scared when
yeah,
playing. I find it exciting and cool. But I mean, I guess we could ask, like, Stephanie, did you feel the horror in yesterday's session? For me, like, I'll watch a movie like Predator or Aliens or something, and I'm like, I'm having fun, right? So for me, the characters could be experiencing horror, but the players are high fiving and laughing at the end of the day, right? Uh,
yes,
I
yeah.
because it's not going to be scary for most. Well, I don't get scared playing tabletop role playing games because I find creepy stuff fun. But
Okay,
yeah, that's how maybe I would describe it.
I
I
get
felt the
creeped. I get
horror. I just thought
creeped out. I felt the horror. Gustava's like,
okay.
you can't marry a ghost.
Yeah, it was a
I'll
bizarre
never
and
forget that.
wonderful session. But yeah, horror
I
is
This
highly
sounds like a lot
subjective
of fun.
too. Like what people's phobias are or what they find
Yeah.
disturbing is highly subjective.
Hmm.
What's hilarious and fun to one person could be very disturbing to another. And um, so it's all about like everybody buying in at the same level because a horror movie should be fun. Like horror is supposed to be a good time. This is a game, right?
Yes.
We're here to have fun and eat some pizza and, laugh as one of our characters gets sawn in half by a blood oiler, right?
Because as one does,
As
because
one does.
that's a great
Yeah.
afternoon, right?
Yeah.
All
Great
right.
time.
Awesome. Thank you for the comments, everybody. So we did I speak in public for a living. We discovered in the Get to Know You segment, you are fascinated with wound systems. This is your meme.
Yeah.
Um, so, how is the wound system structured in Tales from Elsewhere, and how does it affect the characters as they are being wounded?
Yeah. Yeah. So I will give you a phrase said to me by a player, and then I'll dive into the specifics. A player said, "This is in this game. I feel like I'm made of flesh," is what they said,
Okay.
which is because they were describing how vulnerable their character felt. So the way the wound system works is whenever harm is inflicted on a player or a monster, right, or a threat, they receive a packet. Bump my mic. A packet of narrative and mechanical consequence that is its own problem to be solved. For example, you could get shot in the leg by a revolver, and now you have a bleeding wound that prevents you from walking on that leg. That's a
Mhm.
problem. If you don't staunch the bleeding, you'll pass out and die, and you can't walk as fast while the leg is wounded. If you're running
Right.
from zombies, now they'll start catching up to you. And there's no hit point barrier between that. The die rolls determine the severity of the wound, and the weapon or the source of that injury determines the complications to it. Like guns cause you to bleed.
Right.
A big hammer might daze you, like
Mhm.
or crack some ribs. Monsters can do really, like a zombie bite leaves this nasty, nasty bite that's infected. And you can only take so many injuries of certain severities before they have to get written in the next lowest slot. So there
Gotcha.
is a health total in its
Mhm.
injury slots, but it's not like you have to fill in your strain bubbles before you take a serious injury, before you take a critical injury, and so forth.
Right.
The injury roll determines where on that spectrum it falls, and you can
Yeah,
jump
so
ahead.
explain to me how the injury roll works.
Yeah,
So weapons or attacks have a certain number of dice that you roll. And this is kind of interesting. So it's almost like the larger dice are not as potent as the smaller dice in this
correct.
game.
Yep.
Okay, so please
So,
explain.
yeah, the way the calculation works is the number of dice you roll is based on your skill rank. Masters roll 4, laymen roll 1, as an example.
Mhm.
Threats that go beyond that roll even more. And the size of the dice of the pool is
Mhm.
determined by the weapon. A revolver is a D8, a shotgun's a D6, and a punch is a D20. And
Mhm.
that's because you're looking for the single lowest result of all your dice that you roll. You just look for one. And if it is a 4 or higher, you inflict strain. It's like a graze, barely a
Mhm.
flesh wound. Nothing really happens there. No complications are inflicted.
Mhm.
If you get a 2 or a 3, it's a serious injury, which means now you get an injury and those complications happen, like I'm bleeding and I can't use my arm.
Gotcha.
and you only have 2 of those slots. You have between 3 and 9 strain, depending on the character. You then, if you get a 1, you get a critical injury. And you only have 1 slot of those as a player. And then you actually have a lethal slot that's above critical, but the dice can't actually roll that. And the reason why we use the lowest number for all of these is that you can always look for the same result no matter the size of the die you're rolling. So if
Gotcha.
I'm picking up D20s or D8s or D6s or D12s, I'm always looking for a 1, a 2, or a 3, or a 4. And it's not, players remember this, like have it memorized immediately.
Yep.
Like it does not take long to remember. And what's really interesting about that is it creates, as you can kind of see, upper and lower bounds are like
Hmm.
a big part of making a grounded game. So because the minimum result is always strain and the maximum result is always a critical, adding more and more injury dice has diminishing returns on power.
Hmm.
Once you get to about 6 injury dice, which some special abilities like edges could maybe stack you up toward, anything past that is a negligible increase to the chances of inflicting a really bad injury if you're using a medium or smaller dice.
Okay.
Like a coach gun using a D6. If you're rolling just 1 of those, you have like a 50% chance to inflict a wound.
Right.
So rolling 8 D6s is kind of a foregone conclusion, right? It's almost
Okay.
unnecessary. And it means that stacking features that add more injury dice isn't all that worthwhile after a certain
Okay.
point. It's a built-in balancer, as the maximum and minimum are fixed. Unlike like a game like D&D, a dagger is a D4 from an
Right.
untrained wizard. D4 -1 maybe for an 8 strength wizard or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
But a 5th level great weapon master power attacking fighter could do 50, 60 damage in a turn. Because I know,
Yeah, sorry.
sorry I brought it up,
Yeah.
but a game with hit points often has a larger breadth of options. And so balance is harder because
Gotcha.
you have a lot of stacking. So the wound system actually keeps things contained quite neatly. Um,
I have a question from King Eric, who's
oh,
using
sure.
this as a joke, but this actually goes into improvised weapons. What do I roll if I throw dice at someone?
Uh, I don't know if a dice is okay. A metal dice. Let's say it was metal dice, right?
A
These
metal
heavy
die,
metal
sure,
dice. So improvised
or
weapons.
any D12,
Yeah.
any D12.
So improvised weapons are D12s if they could be held in one hand.
Hmm.
In game, you'd roll a D12 for your injury dice. If it's something that'd be too big and you'd have to hold it in 2 hands, like a bar stool, that would be a D10. It's actually quite injurious to hit people with things in real life, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So one of the actual literal design goals in like my personal design goals document was let people like beat up the bad guys to death with a bar stool. Like make that not suboptimal, right? Like
Why not?
right.
Right? I
If
mean,
it's going to
yeah.
be a Wild West game, I didn't want it to feel like you have to use only the most optimal weapon to feel like you can contribute. So I wanted the pugilist to be able to like go knock people out, right?
Yeah.
And the bound nature of the injury system actually helps make weirder weapons more viable because any weapon could critically injure, really, right?
Yeah. 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 So you give yourself a chance,
Yeah,
which I love. So we talked a little bit. I think we talked about dazed. We talked a little bit about bleeding. Bleeding is one of my favorite issues with people because you just take one strain
yeah, it's
per
very
turn.
dire.
You better take care of that real quick. Um, so, how many other types of effects can wounds have on characters?
So the way it works is right now in the conditions like section where it lists a bunch of
Hmm.
different options. I would say there's probably about 10 core
Okay.
conditions, but the rules actually say this is your starting point. Um,
Okay.
right. This is what we all agree on are how certain things work, but it recommends if you need to improvise a new complication to an injury,
Hmm.
go for it. Right.
Okay.
Use these as building blocks because in the end, the fiction of the violence should really be leading the gameplay. And because again, the math is so simple, it's pretty easy to adjudicate. And the core conditions cover a lot of good stuff already. But
Okay.
somebody, players, they're gonna come up with some weird way to hurt somebody. And it's not hard to say like, okay, you threw your hot coffee in their eyes. They're blinded. I don't know. That sounds like what the injury would be. They have a
Sounds
scalded.
about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. You can also
Hmm.
just kind of follow your heart there, and it's not hard to adjudicate really because
And
you packet
that's
it right. It's a packet.
yeah.
Like here's what I think the consequences of this should be. Here you
Yep.
go.
And that's the one thing that I think GMs would have to be looking up is
Yeah.
the package you have, which
Mhm.
is great. So if you look at the mechanics of the game, are you and did you make the quick start guide public?
Yes, the quick start is public, and
So
I've heard feedback that I need a GM screen printout.
GM screen print, but really you can do it yourself because if you are a GM for this game, I just read the quick start guide this morning, even though I've been following Peter forever. I'm like, I just should finally read that because we're doing the interview. But you had the table with ranks that has all of your bonuses and what's the third column? It's the
Injury
ranks and
dice. There's
injury
the injury
dice.
dice,
Okay.
the
Yep.
difficulty, target number,
Yeah.
bonus, and injury dice, and that's
So
like
that's
it.
that's all the math. And
Yep.
then the rest of the panel can just be the statuses that you
Yeah, and
have
they're
to
all
inflict.
pretty straightforward. It's often like, hey, this would make you low roll all your skill tests because you're in a lot
Yeah.
of pain, maybe. There's a couple bespoke ones to specifically target certain things, like
Hmm.
if you're sick by something, it would lower your vigor, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
If you're afraid, it would lower your grit. If you're
Hmm.
distracted, it would lower your awareness. Like there's some that are targeted to show like, hey, these conditions could lower your ability to do certain things temporarily,
Gotcha.
right? But
Yeah.
it's all really it's simple.
I mean, it's narrative based with that very simple mechanical
Yeah, because
concept.
you don't have to worry about the math as much. You
Yeah.
can just pick an effect, slap it
Hmm.
on there, hand it over to the player, say, "Good luck with that."
Yeah. Here, you're one rank lower now. Have fun.
Yeah,
King Eric says he hopes I'm following you at a respectable
respectable
distance.
distance.
Listen, I didn't go to Gen Con, so I couldn't hang out with them. So
Yeah,
that made me sad.
and I'm very far
Um,
from the like Midwest cons that happen out that way
I
because
know
you're East Coast.
I'm East Coast, man.
You're
I'm
even
Philly.
farther.
So if I can drag you out to PAX you or Page
Oh, I
sometime, that
really
would be
do.
great.
Philly has a lot of great tabletop community stuff there, like conventions and
Yeah.
all that. That would be awesome. Someday.
Philly's a lot of fun. I would love to drag you out to GleazyCon sometime. I think
Oh,
that would
that'd
be a
be
blast.
so. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
It's like 100 people just doing bizarro stuff. It's so much
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, and for a good
Um,
cause too, right?
yeah, we raised money for literacy. It was awesome.
Yeah, so I'm all about that.
It was cool. So that's if you're a GM and you want to run a game that's simple. It's the rule book is what you like 380 pages.
Yeah, the total rulebook is big because it's your monster manual, DM's guide, and player's handbook all in one.
Right.
But the actual rules, like as you saw in the quick start, you could fit the rules in like a couple pages.
Yeah, it's like that
Um,
big.
yeah.
Yep.
And the rest of it is rules philosophy in a way. Like, hey, here's
Hmm.
ways to use these rules. We unpack things. Here's alternatives you could use. It's just adding on to that base structure for the setting of Clockworld, right? Like,
Yeah.
here's what you use for this game. But the core resolutions, you learn it in a few minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about this off screen, but for folks who don't know, do NPCs in the game use the same wound system as the PCs?
Right. Yeah. It is a symmetrical system. So all characters use skill tests and injury rolls and have wounds. The threats the players face often have fewer injury slots than the players do because making them have a bunch of injury slots just makes the fight longer, not more interesting. Some of them will have more, some will be harder to hurt, but you will be inflicting injuries on them, as that's the way you dismantle their ability to hurt you. A giant scorpion, you need to chop off its stinger tail or something, right? And it uses that wound
Hmm.
system.
Hmm.
But the monsters don't need as much nuance as the players do. Again, talking like
Right.
Cypher, where basically every threat just has one rank that describes how good they are at everything. And then as the GM, you just adjudicate it up or down if you think contextually they should be better or worse at something. Because we
Hmm.
don't need a full character sheet for each of them. With the Blood Oiler, we just say, okay, it's an extraordinary rank threat. It means it has +8 to all of its skill tests, and you need to get a 12 or higher to escape to do anything to it. But I think its
Yep.
grabby arm would be tougher. That's a 14 now. It goes up 1 because it's the grabby arm and it's
Hmm.
supposed to be scary. But I
It's
don't,
designed to terrify you.
yeah,
Yes.
like I don't need to know that the guile skill tests of a blood oiler would be really bad because it can't lie well because it can't speak. Like I don't need that on there. It just has one global rank. You know, I'm not.
I am just picturing a blood oiler with this big saw blade arm and a trench coat trying to sneak down an
Yeah,
alleyway. You go, what's
right.
going
The
on?
blood oilers don't speak. Yeah. Um, so the game trusts the GM to use that tool however they need. And
Gotcha.
then the threat entry, one page is the descriptions of how it harms the players, its abilities. Because,
Okay.
and the numbers for each is very simple. It's just, it reminds you of the bonus, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I just think that's convenient, and says, hey, here's the complications this injury would do, and here's a description of it. And then each one has a facing page, a 2-page spread, that's the lore of this creature, how they fit into the story, recommendations on how you could integrate them into your game and use them effectively. Because that's the more fun thing for a GM, is like, how do I really mess up my players with this creature?
Yes.
They don't need a very detailed stat block because the game itself doesn't need all that nuance. So
Hmm.
it is symmetrical, but the GM doesn't need to have as many numbers in front of them when they run the monster.
Yeah. And the player characters have abilities and then skills, right?
Correct. Yeah, skills are what determine the only numerical bonus you add to a skill test is your skills, right? There's no other
Okay.
pluses or minuses that will ever happen. So there's not an ability, they're called edges, that says add an extra +1 to your shots of the revolver. It will
Gotcha.
never
Okay.
say that. The math stops there. But it would say something like you high roll your shots against characters sitting out in the open because there's an edge called sitting duck.
Okay.
So it enhances the things you already do in many cases. Or maybe you roll extra injury dice if they don't know you're there, right? Stuff like that.
Okay. It's like an ambush type thing. Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
kind of
And so
cool.
you build, and there's 133 of them split across 10 categories, like supernatural category. This is a little bit like Savage Worlds has kind
Yeah.
of something like this.
Yep.
The bruiser category, the assassin category.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you build your own class, your own build from all these composite pieces based on your backstory elements.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which in the quick start, it doesn't talk a lot about the backstory elements because it's for pre-gens. But you pick 3 narrative choices that then determine which of those 130 or 10 different categories you get to pick from. So it
Gotcha.
narrows things, and which
Hmm.
skills you can choose to be good at. So, if you are a preacher, it gives you skills like leadership skills.
Okay.
That would be the skills you'd be able to do: discipline and bravado. So, and it gives you access to like interaction edges or supernatural ones, holy ones.
Okay.
So I picked that, and now I have access to this packet of things. But I'm going to say that this person used to be a member of a bandit organization. He's a former 100 Blue. That's my culture. Now that gives
Oh.
me the ability
Uh,
to shoot. Now I'm going to choose my culture was the 100 Blue, though.
okay.
Now I can choose ranged weapons as a skill. And
Gotcha.
I have a revolver because of this choice. Well, the first one didn't give me any weapons. Being a preacher doesn't make me armed. My culture is 100 Blue. I now have a gun and I know how to use it. And then my
Hmm.
third choice is my inciting incident. And for the incident, maybe I escaped the blood oilers is my inciting incident. And that means
Okay.
I have a cybernetic prosthesis because they took a limb. And I can
Ooh.
choose now to actually fight in melee, and I can choose a clockwork edge, like for a body enhancement now because I chose that as my
Oh.
inciting incident. And
Okay.
so the 3 pieces form a whole character, but each piece you can mix and match them. Um, and so in order to have access to the ability to shoot a gun, you have to have some part of your backstory needs to involve violence, right?
Okay.
Yeah, if you pick, I'm a saloon owner from the big city who is seeking my fortunes. None of that would let you shoot a gun or stab with a knife and be good at it. You'll be really good at talking to people, but you didn't pick something that would give you guns. So you can't be good at shooting a gun, right? Wasn't part of your backstory. That's kind of how it
Gotcha.
all plays out.
King Eric wants to know if I use all the items you just mentioned in my vocation. No, I do not use all of them in my vocation, but thank you, Eric.
You would
Uh,
probably the preacher can start with a holy scripture. though.
I got one of those.
Yep.
So
And I describe it as a ritual kit to be a little bit all encompassing.
there
The
you go.
things you need to perform whatever
Hmm.
services you would do in your role as a preacher.
There you
Right?
go. There,
Yeah.
so
So that part is nonviolent, like being a preacher. And, preachers
Jer-
are, they're
German.
leaders.
Well, some of them are. Sorry, I'm allowed to say that I am one.
Yeah,
Jordan is taking umbrage with your saloon owners don't know violence. Clearly, you're not hanging out at the right
that's true.
saloons.
Well, so, okay, funnily
That
enough,
is the old listen. That is the old western, right? The saloon owner's always got a shotgun underneath the bar.
and this segues perfectly. So the saloon owner doesn't get the ranged skill as a potential proficiency, but they start with a sawn off coach gun. They just don't. You don't got to be a good shot if they're across the bar from you.
So
Uh, yeah, being a
there is
proprietor doesn't make you a good shot, but you start with a gun because you got to defend your business. Yeah, specifically, it's a sawn off one too, which is. I knew I had
that's
to do it. I had the same thought as
it,
you,
it.
Wes. Like
It
when I was
really is.
writing this,
That's the trope.
yeah, they're not usually like a good shot with it in the movies and the westerns, but you don't need to be, right? You
Right,
just
because
say,
they're
"Get out of
always
my
shooting after
bar."
the guy's got the gun barrel in his hand and pushing it away,
Exactly, and it's
and
just a
doesn't burn his
deterrent.
hand off for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so it's a class.
what would he roll? What's
Well,
his?
a coach gun is a D6, which is
Okay,
very deadly, and point blank, you only need to get a 4 or higher. Like, there's a pretty darn good chance that even a saloon owner can blow somebody away, right?
that's true, but he doesn't have any modifier because he is
Correct. But
the
he could
rank
go
one.
all in, right, to roll 2 and take
That
the
is
high, right?
true.
He's
There
got
it
some
goes.
choices. And just because uh, you're defined by these things at character creation, as you advance, you get milestones for like making it back to town, basically. You can
Gotcha.
choose edges from any category you want. Your
So
skills don't get
that's how character advancement happens is with
yeah, you get new
new edges.
features. Your skills don't actually go up. There is an optional rule in the back of the book about skill advancement if you want a vertical progression system. It's just not what the intended style of the game is.
Okay,
So that saloon owner
so you
could
can't
take
learn new skills.
no, they you can swap them, but your skills
Okay,
are meant to be the result of a lifetime of
it's not like
practice.
I need this ability for this adventure. So there we go.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, your skills don't shift. You become more prepared by getting more equipment, having, holy ammunition for when you face the undead, or like Tesla ammunition for facing robots. So you'll start accumulating gear that makes you feel more prepared, and you'll gain
Gotcha.
more of these features that make you more competent. But your skill bonuses, you'll never out level any of the monsters. They will always
That's
be a
awesome. Do your edges stack? So if you have more than one,
you can't take the same one twice,
but can you
but
take two that apply to the same
oh
attack?
yeah, their
Okay.
synergy is totally possible. Some players like to shore up their weaknesses with their edges. Like I had a player that was playing like a tinkerer. He was terrible at shooting a gun, but he took the sitting duck edge, which says you high roll shots against anybody out in the open. Just to make it so like, okay, I'm not a great shot, but this will help me hit more consistently.
Yeah, he's not a great shot. He's just a misanthrope. Okay,
Exactly.
good. Yeah,
But there are definitely builds that have emerged, and some of them are so cool. I'm okay with the fact that it gets a little weird. Um,
that's awesome.
some players go all in. One in my long-term games, a player wanted to make a sharpshooter, like a sniper with a buffalo rifle. Get up on
Okay.
the ridge, take
Hmm.
one careful shot, and just blow something away. And he basically picked all of his edges to facilitate that one thing. And boy, was he deadly at it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But as soon as a monster crept up behind him, when
He was
100 yards back there, and he's like, "Guys, help!" Like he has nothing to defend himself with. So there's definitely some give or take. There is a build that exists that was discovered by Red Richard, the community member, who's awesome. So there's a clockwork edge where you could have the heart of the Iron Rooster. You basically have a furnace installed in your chest that you can heat up to make yourself run faster and get stronger. But if it
oh
gets
my
too
gosh.
hot, you catch on fire, which is bad
Gotcha.
in a game like this. There's another edge, a supernatural one called Hellfired. You're resistant to burning. And while you're burning, you actually gain benefits. You still catch on fire and it still hurts, but not as quickly. And
Gotcha.
so it's the overdrive
Hmm.
hell train. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's awesome.
So there are cool combination builds that will make the players feel really powerful in that context, but because the game is so deadly, they can't get cocky with it, right?
There we go. All right, we have a couple things from chat.
Ooh.
First off, Scrat has joined chat, and he is
Oh,
totally
Scrat.
Scrat is totally sick of me. So that's fine. Scrat, don't worry, man. I know we promised we'd get you on at the end of this stream. I'll interview you soon. Don't worry about it. I'm going to love stringing that out for as long as I can. But then I have another one from King Eric. Let me scroll back up to it. So I want character build challenge time because he
Oh,
came up with a saloon owner. How would you create a saloon owner with a gun range and axe throwing area in his saloon?
I like it. So we want him to be good at all of those things, in
Yes.
theory, right?
Yes.
Okay, so really quick, all characters have 1 master skill, 2 adept skills, and 4 novice. The rest are plus 0, they're layman. So
Mhm.
no character can be a master at 2 things. That's important, right? So I would say the saloon owner would be like this. See if I can do this all from memory from all the 50 backstory elements. So saloon owner gives them access to guile as a skill, which is good.
Okay.
And I think
Mhm.
we actually let him have that as his master skill, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Great businessman. It's
Mhm.
good to have utility.
Yep.
And then maybe I like it. Oh, this saloon owner was in the cult called Exodus. That is the
Okay.
sinister cult. And being that culture actually gives you access to the melee skill, which you could use to use
The
axes and
axe.
throw.
Gotcha.
And so we need to make him good at shooting. And he's on the hunt for someone. Maybe the person that that he wants to track down someday the leader of that cult. Being on the hunt gives you the ranged skill as an option. So
There you go.
now they can take adept skills in both melee and ranged. So master guile, so good businessman, real crafty, real slick talker, but they took 2 combat skills as their adept skills. So yeah, totally. You can get any permutation of skills, honestly, with a character. There's so
But
many.
we've just created that character.
Yeah, right now. I did that from memory mostly too. Character
There you
creation
go.
looks daunting at first, but once you get like the feel of it, it's actually like a really straightforward process.
And again, there's a cipher system
Yeah,
linkage there.
you're
You
a
are an
warrior who
adjective, noun, who verbs, right? That's your thing.
exactly.
So
Yep.
if you can create a sentence for your character and do that, then you can look through the stuff to build
Hmm.
your character out from that.
Yep. And
Which is why I knew that King Eric's description would make a really cool character.
yeah, and shocker, I find Cipher to be a super cool system. So as you can see, a bunch of the similar taste going into these 2 games.
But parallel evolution.
Yes,
Did you
much of
not
these
read Cipher?
designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't read it. Well, as soon as I did, though, I was like, "Oh man, me and Monty Cook apparently on the same page for this system." Yeah, I
That's
have
why
a
I got to get
developer.
you to come to Gamehole Con. Everybody from Monty Cook Games is there. The whole team is there.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I think they would love your system. I really do.
I think they'd see like, the parallel
Mm-hmm.
there. Yeah. Well, and they're
Ex-
trying a new wounds system for Cipher New
they
Edition.
are.
It's more like Savage Worlds wounds, and it's a stacking penalty without a narrative component per se.
It
But
is.
it's still, hey, they're experimenting, and that's cool.
It's a stacking thing that gives you mechanical penalties.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah, and it's
basically
not
what it does.
yeah, which is very much Savage Worlds, I'd say, where it's a penalty dice basically like per wound level. It's very similar, is
Well,
my
it like
impression.
lowers it like hinders all your actions by like
Oh
2
yeah, they use the
stats.
hinder term. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yep.
global penalty, we would say,
Mhm.
rather than I like packeted wound systems, right? Where
You can throw in all sorts of awful things you can do to people.
yeah, there's nothing to protect your body from the
This
wounds. No
the
abstraction.
smile when you're thinking about that
I
is a
know, it
little
makes me
disturbing.
happy.
I do have to say. Here's
Yeah.
Jordan. Did someone say wounds?
That there's this joke that like that's how you summon me into a conversation is you mention wounds and I'll appear in your Discord server and be ready to talk wounds.
But that happened on my Discord server last week.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Did someone say wounds?" And was like, "Peter," and like all of a sudden you're like, "Yes, I'm here.
Here I
What's
am.
going on? Here I am."
Yeah. I make my rounds in the Discord servers for sure.
I always love it when you pop in, it's just a wonderful time, and you are a wonderful voice in any community that you're part
Thank
of.
you.
So
Thanks.
very, very good. And we are at 14,409.
Oh boy, I haven't been checking. Wow, we are
Almost
so close.
halfway. So six
48%. Yeah.
six $600 to
Yeah. Wow. That's, uh, I don't even know. I'm going
so
to go out to dinner with Mrs. the Sheriff tonight after this, I'm thinking, and we'll get a celebratory meal.
get something. I was hoping you would kick it today and we'd be able to celebrate, but I can celebrate
Oh,
48%.
this
That's
is
awesome.
worthy of celebration,
That's awesome.
especially because to peel back like the Kickstarter curtain, a
Hmm.
lot of Kickstarters just slap $10,000 on. Like, not
Right.
everyone does this, of course. They'll just slap $10,000 as their goal, so they can say funded in 4 hours or something,
Right.
right? Because they know the actual cost is much higher than that. I
Hmm.
do not have the luxury of a runway of extra cash to make up that difference. Should I have only made $10,000? So what we have here is the real cost of finishing the book. You know,
Gotcha.
right? You'll kind of see that a lot of them pick a number that isn't indicative of the final actual cost because they know they're going to make $150,000, right?
Right. So putting $20,000 in is fine.
Yeah.
All right. So the Kickstarter did launch when?
This morning at 8 a.m. Pacific.
Yes. I backed at 11:01 and
There
I
was
have
a
no what number I was. And I'm really annoyed about it.
what's interesting is I can't. Do you want me to look it up? I can look
Yeah,
it
I
up
want to
right
find
now.
out what number I was because it didn't tell me what I was. Like you're the
Okay,
seventh backer.
let me pull this up.
This is just for my personal
Yeah,
edification,
yeah.
folks.
I didn't
Sorry.
even know that this was going to be an option to be able to do so, but it's very cool. Okay,
Because you have to know, like, if it's like the first 20 backers get
right. You were number 17. You were
okay. So
fast too, but
I was at Hair Cuttery when the thing came up and I was trying to upload a short to YouTube. I'm like, do I have to wait? And I was like, no, I'm going. There we go.
that's
So
okay.
we're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it means a lot that people were excited. What really blew my mind is there's people who have already backed at the super backer tiers, the
Well,
special
that's so.
one.
What are the tiers? So what are you
Oh, right.
providing in this? That was my next question.
Yeah, great question.
So
So
I'm PDF only. I'm going to be getting the hardback book, but
I usually PDF only is legit. We'll just say
I
that,
want the
right?
hardback book just for my shelf
Well, what
because
I'll need to
I
do
need
is
the thing.
just fly out there with a copy at one point, I suppose, right? That's how it'll have to go. There's an incentive to come out there and drop a copy off. Um,
So would
oh,
you like to be a special guest at EcclesiaCon next year?
that would be a lot
So
of fun.
yeah.
So, okay, the campaign is very, very simple. We are
Hmm.
not selling a bunch of extra physical media. We're not selling like dice and dice trays and GM screens,
Hmm.
et cetera. Because honestly, I'm just it's a tiny operation. It's me mostly and a couple buddies. So
Yeah.
we're making a game. There's a PDF tier, which is $20. To get the PDF plus the standard hard copy is $60. And that's a
Hmm.
380-ish page, super full color copy. There's a special edition hardcover that is a little bit more. It's $90, which is in Eldritch Green, and it has embossed and foil elements on the cover. But otherwise is the same book. It's just an alternate cover that will probably be limited only to Kickstarter.
Hmm.
There's a deal where if you get the special edition called the Double Barrel Books, special edition and regular copy together at a discount. And then there is the super tiers, uh,
Okay.
where this is for people that sure they want the 2 copies of the book, that normal thing, but they really want to go above and beyond and like help us out. There will be ribbon. The plan is to have a ribbon in both copies. By the way, I saw
That
that.
was, but please, there must be a book ribbon.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
And my endless
So
plea, flat paper.
yes, this is going to be a premium product. Like that's what we're going for. Like high quality. Anyway, the super tier. One of them is called Hero of the Ruination,
Uh-huh.
and you get the 2 books, that whole deal, and then you get to work with me and my artist who handles the backstory elements to choose what one of the backstory elements will look like. Like could be based on your own character.
Oh,
You
cool.
basically give us a description, give us a name, and they go in the book drawn to what you described, and we'll put the name of them in the rulebook in one of the 50 backstory elements because every single one is going to have art. So a handful of people who back at that, the people who back at that tier are going to get their original character added to the rulebook,
Oh,
which is
neat.
super fun. And then they get both copies. The one above that is called Forge a Legend, and you get the character added to the book, but you also get to work with me to design an artifact to be added to the artifact section. Like build a custom magic item or an artifact item that we'll then get artwork for. You get to name it, come up with a lore, and basically contribute your own thing and be credited on that
Oh, that's
artifacts
cool.
page. If for people that want to like design something for the book, really, and these ones are called, I call them super tiers because really it's for people that just want to help the Kickstarter get funded. And it's a way to
Hmm.
include
Hmm.
them in it because we're not offering a bunch of other physical things to give them. All the stretch goals are digital only. They're either upgrades to the book itself, which anybody who gets a PDF would get because the art gets
Hmm.
better,
Hmm.
or it's things that we can send digitally so that people, the can of beans. The thought is it's really expensive to ship internationally right now, like crazy
Yeah.
expensive. And who knows what it'll be.
Why? I don't
Oh,
understand.
political stuff, I guess.
Stupidest
It's
trade war
eh,
ever.
yeah, it's
So
awful. So
yeah.
next year, when we're actually sending them, maybe it'll be better, but we're using a very conservative estimate of like it's like $100 to send to the EU. It's crazy.
I mean,
So
well, it's more than that to send to Canada.
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, so by doing all digital stretch goals and not adding all of this FOMO physical stuff that people won't get, the hope is
Right.
that, hey, international folks get the PDF and then you'll get all the adventures and the music soundtrack we want to do and
Hmm.
the STL files so you can print your own minis at your local library or if you have a 3D printer, digital tools, like all that stuff,
Hmm.
everybody in the world could have access to without feeling like, oh man, I'm in the UK. I can't get the cool dice trays that you made
Yeah.
because it would add an extra $40 to the
It's
shipping
so
price.
stupid. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so we don't know what it'll be next year, sure, when it's time to
Yeah.
ship, but I wanted to warn, it says so on the Kickstarter page, like warning, it's looking like $100 to send internationally for like one book
Right.
practically. So
It's crazy.
buyer beware.
And it's not even like you're can be printing in the EU because you're printing all your books in the US,
Correct.
which is
Walsworth
great
is
for
my
all of us living here.
yeah.
Um,
It was a conscious decision to avoid uncertainties. I'm not a
yeah.
gambler. And
Yeah.
so when it's time to print next year, who knows what trade wars will be and what it would cost to bring my books in and ship them.
Or will they change while they're in transit? Which is
Yeah,
what happened
I
to like Brindlewood Bay, or not Brindlewood Bay,
exactly. And that
Dolmenwood.
worries me so much. So instead, I found a US based printer. It means the profit margins aren't as great. This is going with a collectible can of beans.
Jordan's gonna break me. I'm dying. I'm
It,
gonna have to mute my mic because I'm
what I
gonna laugh too
what
hard.
I told Scrat is, hey, you want the can of beans as an artifact in the rulebook? Give me $1,000 and we'll add it in, right? Back at that tier, and then your can of beans comes in.
But I like that he had the can of beans and he's like, okay, well, I have the cornbread.
Yeah,
It just doesn't do
that's
anything.
so
Like,
great.
okay.
Uh,
So
I mean, I can't argue with Scrat's knowledge of the South. I'm a West Coast
can't
city boy. Can't argue with
listen,
it.
I'm northeast. The cornbread and beans is a new one to me too.
Yeah.
But we have scrapple, so I don't know what anybody
Oh, and
thinks.
yeah, Gustavo, I just saw. Yeah, I've talked to international folks about the hoops they have to jump through to
Oh
get
gosh, yeah.
things. I have a friend that I've met now who's in Serbia, and
Ugh.
he literally has to have somebody smuggle his books in from
It's
like
ins-
Germany,
it's crazy.
even before anything going on right now in the world. Just it's really tough to get
Nice
things
Steph.
internationally. So, oh yeah, see you later, Stephanie.
Night,
We'll
Steph.
play again some other time. Yeah, so
Yes.
the hope is that by going mostly digital, except for the printed copies of the book, that folks won't feel too much of they won't have that fear of missing out too much, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And down the road, we do want to explore local print on demand options like Mixam or Drive Through RPG, because then they can print
Gotcha.
in the EU. But
Hmm.
I have less control of the quality of my product when I do that. And for my
Yeah.
first go,
You want it to be
I
the
want to
premium.
I want to go talk to the printer. I can go meet my sales rep with like a 20
Yeah.
minute drive and we can go over things together. And then I can guarantee the quality to prove to the community that like, hey, we like indie devs and we can like make just as high quality a product as anybody, right? That's the
Hmm.
intention. Just means profit margin's not so great. That's okay. As long
Well,
as it
but
gets the book
you're
funded.
not paying the shipping, you're not paying the tariff costs, you're not doing so.
Exactly. I'm not doubling up extra unaccounted for costs because who knows what they'll be, right? Who
Well, and
knows?
then if you can't pay the tariff, they just destroy the stuff.
Yeah, then all the books and all these years of hard work would be gone simply because
Whoosh.
I couldn't anticipate what would happen next year. So
Because
yeah,
someone, had a bad hamburger at 3 a.m.
right? This
Um,
is the safer route for
yeah,
sure. But down the
just
road,
a
we
little bit.
hope to do more to get books internationally. But honestly, it's crazy right now.
So that was my question. So you're doing it's offset printing right
Offset.
now,
Yep.
stitch binding and all that
Mhm.
jazz with a book ribbon.
Yes.
And my plea is for non-glossy paper.
Oh, yeah. I prefer matte myself.
Okay,
And I
see,
believe my original quote was for matte that I got even from my printer. So
so now I have to like change my before the campaign
again,
ends.
there will
Well,
be
there might be late pledge rewards. I can do it later
yeah,
when
I
I
guess I'll mention that there will be late. I'm keeping late pledges open for the basic physical copies of the book for a while after the Kickstarter closes because it takes going to take the artist so long to finish all 200 plus pieces of art. Right,
my
there's so much
gosh.
art. I only
Yeah,
have like a team of them. There's like 4 artists all going to be working on
awesome.
this, but that's going to take a minute. So in that meantime, if people have the funds to pick up a hard copy, it's going to stay open for a while.
Because then I can say, well, I'm buying myself a Christmas present. And when are you hoping to ship these?
So it's going to be a minute before the physical copies get shipped out. We're talking next year. Well, so my estimate on is 1 year you will have the copy of the book, and the reason
Okay,
for that is I'd like to give myself wiggle room on.
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, between now and then, though, a couple months after the Kickstarter funds, because we're looking good, everyone who backed the product of at least PDF tier or higher is going to get a mostly complete PDF rulebook. It won't have the art, right? It's just going to be the rules because I
Okay.
don't want everybody to wait to play the game just because the artists are going to take some time, right? We don't want to
Sure,
rush.
sure, sure.
So there's basically going to be a big PDF beta of the not fully done game, right? I won't be
Right.
fully edited. The layouts won't be in. The art won't be in. But the hope is that if people are chomping at the bit to play, they don't actually have to wait. It'll be a mostly content complete product at that point.
Hey, that actually helps me because if I can put it on the YouTube channel as a first look, then it's a tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So, it takes a while to make a high quality product. All the
mhm.
art is like super high res, or
Yeah,
most of the art is going to be super high res, especially for the monsters.
yeah,
So we want to give them like a good 6 months, right? Build out all this art, all the different folks.
yep.
And during that time, with everybody getting the beta, we'll refine the rules a little bit, find the balance issues that we overlooked, kind of do that with the community. We'll probably do a second beta release at one point if we need to, like
Mhm, mhm.
well beforehand. And yeah, so a year from the Kickstarter closing is people will have them in their hands is the hope. Now maybe we'll finish it before that, but I think a year is being safe.
Right. I think that's fine. And you're doing the PDFs beforehand, people will
Yeah,
be able to
yeah. I
get
don't
it.
want people to wait. And there might be the stretch goals will be being delivered through then, like
Mhm, mhm.
so people will get stuff. They don't have to wait to play. They'll be playing in like end of this year or something like that. Is
Gotcha.
when the um, again I've taken like conservative estimates, but yeah, they'll have the PDF before too long at all.
And you have to get to 100,000 for a Foundry module?
It's 100,000 because now we're paying like software dev type things, and so it costs a little bit of money to pay them to do so. Um, I know
Yep.
it'll be a little while. One of the challenges is that because my profit margins are fairly slim per unit, I have to do
Mhm.
these kind of big jumps on
Yeah,
on goals to make
which
sure.
totally makes sense.
Yep.
Well, you are looking very good. You're at the 14,429.
Wow.
So, which is
Yeah,
almost 1,000 since we've been here.
that's wild, my friend. Just to
That's
like
really
see
awesome.
that happening. Yeah. Wow.
So,
Um, basically, like when I go to dinner, it's probably I'm going to come back and it'll be 50% done.
yeah, I'm keeping my eye on it. I've been looking at it all day. I'm like, oh,
Oh wow!
please
I'm
get there.
trying
Please
not
get
to,
there.
but I can't help but keep like refreshing the page.
No, I'm just looking at it. I have it over here. So,
Nice,
and
nice.
actually, I can bring it up on the screen. Hold on. There we go. So
Oh,
14,429.
so close. Oh
We're
my goodness!
so close. I'm so excited for that.
Wow.
I am really excited. So, folks, if you have not backed Tales from Elsewhere yet, please take a look at this thing. The game is really cool. Quick start guide. You can download it from where?
So there is a link at the bottom of the Kickstarter page. You can also
Okay.
just go to talesfromelsewhere.com. There's a link to the quick start there.
Hmm.
It goes to a Google Drive folder with a bunch of stuff. It's got like pre-gen character sheets in
Hmm.
standard, like this way. It also has the, your usual kind of like character
Yeah,
sheet,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
also has the gatefold character sheets you can print, the ones we used at Gen Con, which have little tutorials in them.
Uh-huh.
It's got the quick start has an adventure in it. There's an additional adventure, like another one shot in the packet. Just tons of stuff.
That you can
Um,
just download for free now
yeah,
to
it's
check
all
it
for
out.
free. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go in blind on what this product is. There's tons of information. Just be merciful of my layouts. I'm not great at InDesign. They're decent on the quick start guide. um, if you look at like the Kickstarter example mockups from our actual layout designer, you'll see what the product actually is going to look like.
Your layout is fine.
Thank you, thank you.
So
It gets the job done.
it gets the job. It's fine.
Yeah,
The tape. I'm a table snob. The tables are nice.
good. Yeah,
They are
clear. I wanted
nice.
readable. Right, that's the big thing.
Drop cap. I wanted a drop cap. That's the one thing I need. I want a drop cap with made out of like rope. Would have been great.
Oh yeah, it's the how much decorative elements to put in is always a tough
It's
one,
always a
right?
tough question.
Especially if I have to make them myself at this stage.
Yeah, I'm incapable of. I would like it. Can't do it, but I would really like that. So now
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to seeing this get funded, Peter. I am so
thank
thankful
you.
for you coming on and making time
My
tonight
my
to
pleasure.
chat.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, this
It was
was
great.
great.
Yeah.
I'm back to say, wait, what is it? I'm back to say you got Bob to do a video. You got Bob Worldbuilder to do a video for you?
Yeah, that is a sponsored video. That is a paid ad spot that I got
Look
from
at
him.
you.
That is, I didn't do a lot of money spending. Um,
Okay.
I mostly networked and worked with the
Mm-hmm.
community, but Bob is somebody I really respect, and his content I really respect. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to support Bob by paying for an ad spot for my game.
There you go.
So yeah, Bob has run one ad for me on his like bounty hunting in D&D sort of
Oh,
video,
that's
which is really
awesome. I
cool
have to
too.
go watch it. I love Bob is one of the kindest people.
I haven't met him yet, but he just seems so genuine and so great.
I got to interview him, I think
Oh,
last year,
awesome.
and was just phenomenal. He's really, really, really a good guy.
That's
So,
great. Yeah, good
yep,
dude.
very good dude. So, all right. Well, listen, we're like an hour and a half in, plus our
Yeah.
extra 10 minutes that we did before anybody could see. I figured out what I did. I did put on auto start because I haven't done that for so long.
Yep.
Like, so I'll do that in the future, and we will not leave people wondering where we are, which would be great. I had a wonderful time. This is an incredible game, folks. Go check it out for folks who are not watching this live. It is a blast. You can see all the comments, people coming in from people who have played with him. You have seen that this is a really cool game. So please go check it out. The link is there in that QR code. Back it. The link is in the description below. Go check it out and back it. We'd love to see him make a couple stretch goals. Definitely get to the goal
Yeah,
and
get to
get it
your
done.
Foundry VTT
Get to.
goal.
Well, that's just selfishly for me. I want the Foundry BTT goal. It's great. And I would love at some point when the Kickstarter insanity is over, I need to get in on a game.
Yes, absolutely.
I
That'll
really
happen.
want to play a game because I played in the world. I have not played in the game. And we can play with Scrat, and Scrat can be tired of me and call me a loser, and that'll be fine. That's how Scrat invited me to play in
Yeah.
the Clock World games. Like, loser, what are you doing on the, what was it, 30th we played?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, being a loser. And you'll get me in a game and I'll interview Scrat, and then everybody will be happy and
Well,
it'll
I'll be
be good.
happy. Yeah,
So
sounds good.
it's just awesome. Yeah, John, it is a great project. Go check it out. And you probably want to cover the quick start on one of your flip throughs on Twitch, buddy. And Scrat is all happy that I'm going to interview him. Scrat, I really will set up an interview with you. So listen, I am going to ask you to stick around a little bit just so I can thank you after the stream gets done. Everybody else, I will talk with you soon. I have a couple videos in the works. Like I said, you can see I am not in my normal studio, so I don't have my normal setup this week to do all my normal things. I'm going to go right to me just to close. So Peter, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming by.
And you stick around while I close everything out. So I do have my review of Dreams and Machines written. So I have the second draft done. I need to go through a third draft. There's a couple of things I need to change for combat. When I get a chance to record it, which will probably be next week, it'll be up on the channel soon after that. I have mentioned doing a potential live stream of my Hallmark adventures for EZD6, and I'm going to probably do a video explaining what the heck that is because most folks don't know. So that should be fun. And it'll be kind of like an origin story and some random thoughts, as always will be coming up sometime later this week. I have a blast bringing this all to you. I had a great time talking with Peter and all of your comments today. So thank you so much for everybody for coming in to chat. And until we see each other again, happy playing, everyone.